What's up, guys? Thank you for watching. I have another amazing game for you guys. Give you anxiety in blue as the Abbasid dynasty, spawning in the west side of the map. And on the east, we have ReallyUnskilled as the Japanese. The map is Dry Arabia, so something that we have played on for, I think, since the beginning? Or at least since the second season. Dry Arabia has been around. Very standard map. A lot of people tend to consider this one of the most balanced maps. Trade posts on either side, fairly close to both players, both can be easily contested. Walls on this map are very, very long. A little difficult to connect right from the beginning. But there's a lot of room. There's a lot of resources throughout the map. Getting map control is pretty important here since it is so wide open. But it is Abbasid versus Japanese. Both of them do have the potential for heavy feudal playing. Not only that, but both of them have the possibility of going into an extremely fast castle. Not as fast as, let's say, Zushi, for instance, or HRE, Order of the Dragon, but they could still go for a 2TC fast castle. I haven't seen too many Abbasid people recently. A lot of them have been going towards their variant, the AoBids. I still like the play style of the original. I prefer the Abbasid over the AoBids. That's my own personal preference, though. I know people out there like the more aggressive playstyle that the AoBids have. I really like going for the late game, though, when playing as the Abbasids. Their trade is just phenomenal. Just the amount of options and variety you have and the amount of openers you have as the Abbasids it's just so fun. Over here for our Japanese player, he's already going into feudal, only aging up with 2 on the Kura storehouse. Military wing is getting thrown down for our Abbasid player. He's gonna try to apply some early feudal aggression with those 2 spears, 2 archers. Nothing on stone yet. So to me, it shows that he's going to be going for more of a heavy feudal aggression instead of a light feudal aggression into a 2TC play, like we do see on occasion. Yet on the other side, for our Japanese player, we do see the stone getting gathered already. Quite a few on wood. Actually, well, only 3 on wood. These 2 might jump over to wood as soon as they're done with the Kura storehouse. That could potentially be for either a faster daimyo or for a 2TC play. I think it's going to be strictly for the daimyo, just because we don't see that many villagers on wood yet. Something I've been noticing playing as the Japanese is house placements are very, very important. There have been so many times I've dropped houses that just in the it's a lot of future planning. It's a lot of Sim City and future proofing to make sure that your farmhouses are in a nice, good spot for later on, not just for that moment, but so you could place some farms when you're in early castle and it's not getting blocked. It's still optimal for your daimyo upgrades, the aura to be hitting it. So just keep that in mind when you are playing as them, to make sure you don't unintentionally screw yourself over later on and your one little house placement one won't make that significant of a difference. Once 2 or 3 houses start messing you up, though, yeah, you'll start feeling the pain. Both players have aged up. Where are his? Oh, they're already halfway across the map. Both spears and archers have made it across the map. He is splitting them two going north towards the gold, two going south towards the stone. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to pick anything off, get a little bit of poke damage in. Onto the first villager, still sits at 20. Does postpone if the Japanese player was planning on going for a 2TC play. Oh, so he already has the daimyo up. If the Japanese player was going for the 2TC play, he does have to switch over now. Okay. Uma Bannerman is out, getting heavily poked, kills the first archer. Nice focus fire. He has to pull that back. It's gonna go down. 6 health. The last archer shot goes through. He is able to kill the last archer though. That was not a good trade for him though. An Uma for 1 archer. And it was actually Uma and a horseman. The Uma dies. But if you take the resource count into consideration, that's an Uma and a horseman for 2 free archers. Just so he could be able to gather up his stone a little bit easier without any repercussions, any kind of poking, because at this point you're not going to be worried about the spears anymore. All you have to do, pull back your villagers. If they chase, if GUA isn't paying attention, they're going to take a lot of free damage from the TC fire, especially since it is a daimyo. It has the extra arrow slit. A little bit of harass coming through, trying to pick off the unexpected spearmen before GUA notices. Second TC is coming down, as well as an outpost for our Abbasid player. Doesn't look like there's no other outposts have been made yet. Places his second TC right on top of the deer patch. He's going to use his scout to try to push the deer in as well. Second TC coming down on the deer and on the berry patch over here for our Japanese player. It's going to be significantly later than our Abbasid player, but our Japanese player was under a little bit of harassment. We'll start seeing the eco for our Abbasid going up. He'll probably be up about 2 villagers for the remainder of the game until obviously some of them start getting picked off, just because his second TC was so fast by comparison. Obviously it's going to be a lot faster with no hiccups than if, let's say, 2 archers and 2 spears were at your stone, being a nuisance. Over here on the Japanese side, 10 on gold. Let's just switch this over. 17 on food, 3 on wood, 10 on gold. Looks like he's going to try to go to a fast castle, or go into castle. We already have level 1. No boot camp yet for our Abbasid player. Still sitting on just about the same as well. 22 on food, 12 on gold. His age up is going to be coming through within the next about 30 seconds or so. And for our Japanese player, the age up probably won't be coming up for at least another minute and a half, depending on what he's gonna try to do. Culture Wing comes through. Get those cheaper upgrades. I'm expecting to see most likely a golem spam coming for our Abbasid player. That single spear is still being able to push off the horseman. Now that the Uma Bannerman is coming in, send in the Uma first. That way he takes the full damage of the brace attack, and it only gets rid of his deflective armor while your horsemen start poking. Nice reaction by GUA, sends his villagers in. At this point, I don't think our Japanese player is even attempting to get a kill. He's just trying to force out idle time. Even if he does get a kill or 2, that's just bonus in all honesty for him. A lot of poke damage coming through onto the Uma Bannerman. Thankfully, with his base ranged, he's only taking about 2 damage per shot compared to, let's say, his that of a normal unit, a normal horseman. Actually, I think the horseman has 3 ranged armor as well. Loses his second Uma Bannerman, and that time it was just to pure arrow damage. A lot. Oh, sorry about that. All I wanted to do was just highlight this, and my mouse bugged out a little bit. So one villager kill, our first villager kill, goes to ReallyUnskilled. He also pulled all his villagers off from his farms to age up. Culture Wing just finishes right now. Floating Gate will be finishing in about, what, 15 seconds, 10 seconds? Meanwhile, the single spearman is still out and about, pushing away the horseman scout combo that's going on. From here, we're going to have to see where ReallyUnskilled goes. If he plans on going for a heavy samurai, or if he's going to go more cav. We have 3 stables, 6 lancers queued up at the moment. So he could fight this with Spear and Onimusha. It does look like that's where he's going to be going right now. 2 barracks up. Upgrades. No upgrades yet for either player, which I think is a really missed opportunity, since it's only 75 gold, 25 stone to get the +1 melee attack as Japanese. He could have afforded that since the game started. Pulls back his army. There's already a lot of damage on the Onimusha. 4 spears, 2 Onimusha, a samurai, a mounted samurai, and a horseman for our Japanese player, and 6 lancers for GUA. Really Skilled will be able to move. Oh, he's already moving out onto the map, grabbing whatever relics he can. What I was gonna say though is ReallyUnskilled will be able to have a really nice defense going through right now. He's gonna be able to hold, not take much of any damage really, eco or military wise. Wall coming down for him on the southeast side of his base. Lancers are still posturing around. Wall coming in on the southwestern side, or pretty much the direct southern side for GUA. The wall is gonna barely come up before these lancers are able to make it through. 8 idle villagers for our Japanese player. Full walls coming up on the northern side for our Japanese player as well, for ReallyUnskilled. He's missing 1 villager on his free farm. Not that big of a difference considering he's only at the tier 1, the Daimyo Manor. That is a 25% farm increase rate, farm gather increase rate though. So over a span, a decent span of time, it will eventually start adding up. As of right now though, it's perfectly fine. A little bit of a lancer harass coming through, and a little bit of a wolf harass coming through as well for or against our Japanese player. There's some really nice walls coming through right here. Fully walled off on the northern side, fully walled off on the far southern side, and now he's trying to finish it off with a wall directly west of his, or directly in front of his town center as well. Second TC is pretty safe, has the outpost, hasn't upgraded it to the Daimyo Manor yet. I really like doing the Daimyo. Well, in this case, it doesn't make sense since he's putting it so far out into the field, onto the battlefield. I would generally put my second TC in a safer location, and then just slowly crawl out towards the other resources once I have a decent army, and depending on the civilization I'm playing against, rather. For GUA, we do have 15 archers, 4 horsemen, 5 lancers, and a camel archer coming through for our Japanese player. Currently sitting at 16 spears, 8 Onimusha he's okay. Really Unskilled does notice that his spears were going in, doesn't lose any of them for free, not yet anyways. A little bit of poke damage coming through from the TC onto GUA's archers. So as I was saying, 16 spears, 9 Onamusha, 5 mounted samurai for our Japanese player. A little bit of harass coming in, or a little bit of a forward assault coming through for GUA, our Abbasid player. Some really nice reaction speeds, reaction times coming through for both players though. Goes in, does a little bit of an alert damage, let's say, because GUA wasn't going to fully commit to that. He just wanted to pull his attention. As soon as he saw a little bit of Really Unskilled's army come through, pulls everything back, doesn't want to risk it. Now we see a full run by coming through on the southern side. And I don't know what this horseman's doing. I don't know what's going on here. He has his torch out, but it seems like he wants to take the very scenic route in order to attempt to burn down that gate. The palisade gate is on fire now, pulls back, and GUA pulls back his little run by army, since he did see that a second wall was coming through directly behind that. The Shinto priest gets sniped off in the middle. That was attempting to grab that relic. How many relics are we sitting on right now? So we have 2 for Really Unskilled, none for GUA at the moment. Horseman decides to attack the palisade wall. Good job, Horseman. Keeping busy. I like it. And now GUA is posturing in the middle with 29 archers, 15 horsemen, 9 crossbows, 5 lancers, and 1 camel archer. A few of those units are down here on the southern end, going for potentially another attempted burn through and then run by. We'll see how our Japanese player reacts to this. There is a decent force up north too, attempting to run by. He's able to deter those. Down south, burn through coming through on the first palisade. Spears are moving down there in order to deter them from pushing through any further. Meanwhile, we see mounted samurai and Uma bannermen pushing away the rest of the horsemen. The rewall comes through instantly for our Japanese player. Now in the center of the map, we have the archers and crossbows moving forward, taking a lot of free damage from the first tower. They get 1 villager kill, 2 villager kills. The remaining run by force moves from south over here over to the center, while the rest of the horsemen up north are just kiting around, distracting what seems like a vast majority of our Japanese players' cavalry. In the middle, let's see, what do we have for him back home? 1 samurai is going to be getting donated. A lot of the spearmen just get completely destroyed right there. I'm not entirely sure what he was thinking. A little bit of a run by with 5 mounted samurai. They're going to be able to clear up those horsemen. There's still a massive force by GOA pushing through straight down the center. Another spearman and another samurai are just potentially going to get donated. He pulls them back just in time. He has a nice sitting army. Our Japanese player has a nice sitting army right here in the center of his base, but that's a lot of archers and crossbows that he's gonna have to deal with. An attempted Wololo goes off for GUA to push off, potentially even steal some mounted samurai. Does not work. Really Unskilled is able to hold off any further aggression that was trying to push through the center of his base, and still keeping up quite a bit of harass. He's killed 11 villagers so far compared to the 4 of GUA. Is giving away another Really Unskilled gives up another Uma bannerman and 2 mounted samurai right there. Our Japanese player needs to build some more production. He's currently sitting on 1200 and GG gets called as soon as Imperial goes through and the game goes to GUA. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to catch you guys next time.